everybody, Patty Ann here. Here, your kids getting a little bit bored this summer, kind of like these kids back here. I used to get bored, and one of the things I used to like to do was play with paper dolls. And I really used to like to put on puppet shows and plays for my parents. So I'm going to show you something that you can make today with your Silhouette machine. You can use it with your CRICUT machine too if you have the business edition of Silhouette. But anyway, I'm going to do it with Silhouette today, so follow me down to my desk and let's get started. Okay, before we get to my computer, I just wanted to show you what I plan to make. I'm going to show you how to make some little things like this. It could be like little puppets for a puppet show, and I have them as double-sided. Both of them are double-sided. So all you're going to need are sticks like this, or popsicle sticks, or you could even go out in the yard and get some sticks off of a branch of a tree. No need to buy sticks for this. Also, you will need cardstock. Everybody always wants to know what kind of cardstock I use. So you can see here I use cardstock from Staples, and the weight of it is 65 pounds. And this was 250 sheets in this ream. I also used glue dots, but you could probably use your hot glue gun, or maybe even double-sided tape, or maybe painter's tape. You can just experiment to what you can get to stick to the stick. Now, if you go outside and get sticks, probably the best thing to use would be your glue gun. Anyway, okay, now let's go to my computer. Okay, for today's purposes, I'm just showing you how to grab images. It's your responsibility to find out whether it's appropriate for you to do so, meaning they are free for you to use. Okay? But these are just images that I'm grabbing for demonstration purposes. Now remember, when you go to Google, the first thing I've taught you to do is you come over here, you're going to go to Google Images, and then the next thing you're going to do is come over here and click on the word Tools. When I click on Tools, another menu comes out down here, and I want to make sure that the type I'm looking for is clip art. I'm going to clip on clip art. And I also want to change the size. I don't want it to be any size, especially because these are going to be print then cut. I want them to be the best image they can be so they're not blurry. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to larger than and change it to larger than the largest number here. So there we go. So I just scrolled down through here and I found a lot of images that I really like to use. So let's just go over now to my Silhouette Business Edition and check it out. All right, so here's one of the little Hello Kitties that I decided I really thought was super cute, and I would like to have her as one of my child's little puppets that they can play with. Now notice there's a background for her, and I don't want that in there, and I don't want this square. So I am going to trace her. Now, to trace her, I would come over here to the Select Trace area, and when I go like this, notice I'm getting those clouds in there, and I don't really want them. So I'm going to get rid of them first, really easily, by just coming over here to the Eraser tool, click on it, and of course I can change the size of it up here or the shape of it if I want it rounded or squared. I'm just going to leave it like it is, and I'm just going to come up here and erase these things that I don't want to accidentally grab in my trace. Now notice I'm having to go back and forth a lot, so what I could do if I want to is bring the size up here. Then I'm going to get these very quickly. And this one over here. Perfect. And now I think I don't need to worry about these things down here because I can make the trace and have it stop before it gets there. So I'm going to come up to Select Trace area and click on that. And let me scroll down just a little bit. I'm about to lose her ear off the top. There we go. So I'm just going to draw a rectangle or a square around her. Perfect looking trace. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I want her bow a little bit better. I can come over here to the threshold. Ah, much better. Look at that. I can move the threshold down and it looks much better. So usually what I do is I click Trace And what I get is this, and then I have to color it. I'm not going to do that this time. I'm going to hit Control Z and go back. So I'm going to lower my threshold again. This time what I'm going to do is say trace and detach. So what that's going to do is it's going to trace the part I want, and it's going to detach it from the back that I don't want. Watch. Trace and detach. So here's the part I want. Look at her go flying out. And this is the part I don't want. So I would click on it and delete it. So that's really cute. Now, I've already done one over here. And notice what I did with her. I put the extra white border around her. And I'm going to show you her in a little bit because I did something that I think makes the pieces last just a tad bit longer. And I'll explain that to you in a bit. I can turn off the outline if I want to, so you don't be bothered by that. So now I want to put an offset around this Hello Kitty. So I'm going to click on her to select her. Then all I do is come over here to the shape, the star shape with an offset on it. Click on that and click on the word offset. Automatically puts an offset around her. Looks beautiful, right? And I think I'll just leave it at the default. So I'll say apply. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the original Hello Kitty out of here, because if you'll notice I see a speck or two in here that I really don't think needs to cut out. Let me zoom in so you can see. See that little circle right there? I'm not sure why that was put there. I'd have to look closely at the picture, but I don't need that to cut. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click on it, which makes the nodes or the points visible. See those little squares? Let me zoom in closer yet. Those little squares are called points or nodes. And you can get rid of them by clicking on one, and it makes it into a little white box, and then just hit delete on your keyboard, and that gets rid of them. So now I can scroll back out. Whoops, not too far. And, oh dear, sorry. Scroll back out. And what I need to do is to come over here and hit the select tool up here in the upper left-hand corner. Then I can bring my Hello Kitty back into here. But before I do, let's turn this to white. I'm going to highlight it. See right now what color it is? Since it's the checkerboard-ish, that means it's transparent. I don't want it to be transparent. I want it to be white. I could make it any color I want to. I'm going to turn off the line because it's really not going to show. And I'm going to bring her back up in here. And what I can do now is I can highlight both of these and come up to the top where it says, this one right here, looks like a bullseye. It says center. I'm going to center it. Perfect. And then I'm going to highlight them both and group. Okay, so now I actually have two ready to go. I wonder what size I've made these. I want them to be about 5 inches tall, so I'm going to make her taller. 5 inches? Maybe 5 inches is a little too tall. How about 4 inches? 4 inches? Sure, 4.5, something like that. There we go. I'm going to make this one the same height. So I'm going to make her about 4 inches as well. Just because they kind of go together then. Then their heads are kind of the same size. Alright, so let me show you how I do that, how I did this one, or one similar to this, that I think makes it just a little bit more playworthy. Can't think of a word, so a little tougher. So let's go back over to Google. And let's look for an image like that one. So hopefully I'm still in the large images. I am. And what I'm looking for is one that has like a little space in her arm or something. So I can close it in. That is super cute, y'all. Especially because right now, it's like the 50th anniversary of the Apollo landing. That is super cute. All right. I wonder what it looks like. Okay, this is one that is really cute. I would have to save this because notice it has a transparent edge. Oh, and look over here, Spidey. But anyway, I am going to save this one. So I'm going to say right click, save image as, and I'll name it Hello Rocket Kitty. Rocket Kitty. And I'll just say save. So this isn't exactly what I was going to do. I'm sidetracked, but that's okay. I'm going to bring this one in. So let's see. I'm going to go, we can get rid of this one now. Delete. So I'm going to go to File, Merge, because I want to bring it into the same work area. And I know it's in my desktop, and I know it's in a folder called Summer Photos. And Hello Kitty, there she is, open. All right, there it is. So let's see, what shall we do with this one now? Let's bring us in closer. And some of the things that I think I might like to do is get rid of this lanyard that's on here, right? So what I'm going to do is zoom in closer. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my eraser tool and I'm going to make it the square shape up here. And I'll leave the size maybe a little bit like that. And let's see what I can get. Not very good, Pet. Okay, I'm going to have to fix that in a little bit. I'll show you how. But I can get rid of most of this jazz, like this. So I'm letting go of my mouse key every now and then so that if I have to undo, I don't have to go way back to the beginning. Okay, so let's get rid of some of this down here. Here. Oh, that was bad. So I'm going to hold Control Z, go back and try to fix that a little bit. There we go. And around this edge here. And I could probably do this a little bit better if I wasn't doing it for the video, but I think this will be okay. So now I'm going to go back in. And I'm going to get my select tool. And now what I'm going to do, I have this piece over here too I need to get rid of. Come back to the eraser. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to try to trace this and see what happens. I'm going to come over to the trace tool, select the trace area, and select this. Okay, that looks pretty good. So I'm going to select and detach again. And let's see what we get. Okay, so I'm getting rid of all of that, which is good. And the only thing I don't like is how wiggly this is here. So I'm going to double click on this and zoom way in. Because this is when I can fix this with the nodes. Let me show you. If I click on this, I can, actually first thing if I want to, I can simplify. That makes less nodes. And then what I can do is I can click on this and maybe add a node here. And this is going to allow me to smooth this part out over here a little bit. So it's not quite as jaggedy, and I need to get in closer so I can see what I'm doing. As you can see, my line's getting much smoother over there. It's not fabulous, but it's getting better. Okay, so that's pretty good. So let me scroll back out and see how she looks. All right, so I could spend some more time fixing this if I wanted to, like come down here and fix this part, or down here where I got this. But just for today's purposes, I'm not going to do too much more. I might double click on this and get rid of like this node right here, delete it so it's not sticking so far out. And this one, double click, you get your nodes, highlight it and delete it. Oops, that got rid of too much, but I can fix that like that. And let's see. So nodes are just something that you learn to play with. At first you may hate them, as people in my classes, but we do learn to love them, or certainly to see the advantage of using them. Because you can see how I'm able to just kind of smooth some of these spots out just a little bit. And actually, I'm going to just delete that node right there. Delete the point, and it makes it straight. There's probably a point right here which I can delete. Delete that point, and that makes it smoother. A little bumpy there, but that's okay. All right, so I think this looks pretty good. Let's scroll back out. Oh, here's some spots up here that I would probably want to fix as well, even though I didn't even mess up there. But look, see this little point right here in the center? If I delete that one, right click and delete it, see how that smoothed that right out? There's another one right here. I'm going to delete this point. It's going to smooth, whoops, it smoothed it out pretty well, but it sort of messed up over here, so I can fix that. And okay, that probably wasn't the best thing to do either. Anyway, you get the idea. So you just putz with these and play with them until you get them to your liking, and eventually you just have to say, okay, enough, right? Okay, so this guy's pretty good, or this girl, but she's awfully tall. So I'm going to make her back the same size as the other ones. Maybe I'll make this in about 5 inches tall. She's in outer space. There we go. All right, so the last one I'm going to do is I'm going to go back again and try to get one, like I said, with the arm that's out. So, or the elbow that I need to fill in. So let's go back one more time and not get distracted this time. So let's see, anybody here? No. Okay, here's one that I can use to demonstrate what I'm talking about, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to right click on this one. Because it's not transparent, you do not see the checkerboard behind her. So in Business Edition, all I have to do is right click on her and say copy image. And then I open Silhouette, and I did do another one right here. But anyway, I'm going to right click and say paste. And there she is. So the first thing I'm going to have to do is come over here to trace, select an area, and I'm just going to trace her. And once again, that looks pretty good. So I'm just going to say trace and detach. That's what I want to keep. I'll get rid of this part, delete. Now what I need to do is I want to check her size. She's pretty good size, maybe a little smaller. Let's check her with the other ones. Yeah. All right. So the next thing I want to do is I want to put the offset around her. So I come over here to the right where the star is with the offset on it. Click on that to get the panel. Then I'm going to click on the offset panel. Okay, so this one isn't showing exactly what I wanted to show either. Sometimes, well, actually maybe it is, because right here it's going to cut like this and go in here like that. If I increase the offset, I can make it so that will smooth over and won't be as apt to tear right there maybe. So let me do Control Z to get rid of that offset. And let's just see what's going to happen. If I do an offset, and let's say I up the offset over here, Okay, it's getting pretty large now. That's a really big offset on her, but I might like it like that. I could leave it and then just turn it to white like that. And notice now that there's not that big of a thing in here where she could get torn easily. So like on this one, the offset, this part right here wasn't closed in. So I made the offset larger so that would close in. So it's up to you, whatever you like for your offset. Okay, now I'm just going to click on it and say group. And this is the one I had made earlier. So I'll save that one. All right, so let's see. Now that we're in Silhouette, let's see how we would go ahead and make these to be print then cuts. So the first thing I would do is I would come up here to the page setup, and I'm going to set it up so I have registration marks. But I'm also going to set it up so I have a letter size piece of paper that I'm going to put these on. And let's see, I'll leave that as the regular cameo. So, and I also need to come over here to the registration marks and turn those on right here to type 1. And so that lets me know where I have to put these images on my page so that they will fit as print then cuts. Now they can't go outside of this line right here. Like her little piece of flowers is going out. I'll show you. Let's see. I don't think I'll do that one since we did that one. I did that one by myself and y'all didn't see that one being done. So right now let's just look and see what's going to happen if I leave it just like this. If I go to send, you can see, whoops, what's going to happen when I highlight all these and I say to cut the edge. So look what's happening. This is working just fine. Like I said, her flowers are being cut off. This works just fine. The airplane is not good because its wing is getting cut off. So let's see, how about we put that like that. I think I have some rearranging to do, so I'll go back to the design. And I think I'll move this over like that just a little bit. I'll put this up here. Maybe put her over here. And perhaps this will fit here if I rotate it. So I'm not sure. So let's go look again. So I'm going to go to send. And okay, these two are overlapping a little bit and this is getting cut off a little bit. So I'm going to go to the design again. Show print. There we go. There's the show cut border. So that's when we can see this red line here? Now I can see that it's getting pushed over where it shouldn't be. So again, I'm going to try to rearrange these. Maybe I can put her up here. Maybe this one would fit down here better. I think I might have it. So let's go to make it and see. Send. Okay, look, all 4 of those are going to fit perfectly on my cardstock. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to change this material over here to cardstock, plain. And wow, that is cutting it close right there. Okay, I'm ready to continue on. So the next thing that I will do is I'll come up here to File, Print, and I'll find my printer up here, and I change my preferences so that I make sure it's on a matte or a cardstock, and I also change my print quality to best, and then I say OK, and then I print it. I've already printed it out so that you can see it, and if you look down here at my table you'll see what I've printed out. Now to make this project, of course, I'm going to do this twice, and I'm going to mirror image it so it will fit on the opposite side, just like one of these dwarfs did, so I can have it double-sided. If you don't want it double-sided, you just can do one time. I double-sided Minnie as well, and so I mirrored her or flipped horizontally so I can make each of them. Okay, I'm going to put this on my mat now, and I'm going to put it on in the same direction that it shows on my screen. So here's the top of my mat for my cameo. I'll just stick this right up at the top. And I don't know if you noticed or not, but there are registration marks on here. There's a little square here, a line here, and a line here. Those are the registration marks that my cameo will read so it knows where to cut for each of these images. On your CRICUT machine, as you know, it draws a whole rectangle around it. And by the way, yes, you can send these to your CRICUT machine. Easy peasy. Make them here, send them there. Silhouette Business Edition is a software that you can use for your CRICUT. So let me go and cut these, and I'll be back to show you how well they work. Okay, here are my finished puppets. 2 of them I've already glued on. I'm not going to make mine double-sided today, but I could by just mirroring this and then gluing the other one to the back. Aren't they cute? Super cute. Little kids will have fun playing with these, I think. And their imaginations can go wild. You know, you can find lots and lots of different images that you could use. Just make sure that the ones you use are, you know, appropriate, that we're allowed to use them. Oftentimes it seems, you know, we can use things for our own home use. But I'm not sure of all the legalities, so just be careful. Okay, there's that. And the last one, I love this one, so cute because of what time of year it is and what decade it is actually. 50 years ago, in a couple of days, the men landed on the moon. Were you alive at that time? Do you remember it? The Hello Kitty's blasting off and she's going to the moon. Oh, having trouble. Okay. So there are my little puppets. I could make a little stage and have all of these little guys having a good old time making up stories and putting on shows for my parents or anybody. So again, thank you for joining me. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe. I'm trying to get to 20,000 subscribers. Also check out the links below. I have lots of links below to some good stuff that I like to use, as well as my Facebook groups and our Patreon group. If you're struggling to learn, join us over there. It's only $5 a month. You get 5 classes, 5 in-depth long classes, 1 hour long, where they're live, and you can ask me questions as I go. And we do one topic usually each week, whether it be offset or rhinestones or all kinds of different things. So again, just consider it. Thanks for joining me today. Bye, y'all.